Gold is the main asset of 2025. And the more investors get caught up in the gold rush, the louder we hear the idea of abandoning the dollar and returning to the gold standard. But did you know that bringing gold back as a full-fledged payment instrument is actually possible? The catch is this: for that to happen, companies like BlackRock would need to take people's gold away. Subscribe to the channel, let's break it all down. Many believe that returning to the gold standard is impossible. Most people think it simply wouldn't work in our global and digital world. But if you look at it from another angle, the chances are not zero. Because gold wouldn't be used the same way as before, modern technologies now solve all of its old problems. Let's start with why gold stopped being universal money in the first place. There were three major issues. First, extremely high transportation costs. Imagine having to physically transport bars or coins across long distances just to buy something. It was expensive and dangerous. The solution came with paper receipts. You would store your gold in a bank, and the receipt gave others the right to claim it. Gold stayed in the vault, while payments became cheap and instant. Second, impracticality and indivisibility. Gold kept becoming more expensive, and it was nearly impossible to divide it into small portions for everyday purchases. Paper solved that too. 1 ounce of gold could be represented by thousands of receipts, making it infinitely divisible for transactions. Third, hoarding and centralization. This is the most important part. People started saving the good gold and spending the bad, depreciating paper money. This is Gresham's law. Eventually, all the real gold ended up in vaults, leading to centralization. Banks began printing more receipts than they had gold. Governments then nationalized the entire process and eventually defaulted on their obligations, which led to the final abandonment of the gold standard in 1971. Today, the exact same thing is happening again, but on a global scale. Gresham's law is unfolding right before our eyes. The US dollar is speeding up as the primary medium of exchange. Its share in global payments is rising, but dollars are soft or bad money. Gold and Bitcoin, on the other hand, are accelerating as stores of value. Central banks and sovereign funds are selling US debt and accumulating hard assets, the good money. As a result, nations and individuals spend depreciating dollars and save what will hold value. This process will continue until sellers eventually refuse to accept dollars as payment. If gold returns as money, it will look like a modern digital version of paper receipts. What would that look like? You'll pay with your card or mobile wallet. Prices will be displayed in grams of gold. The gold itself will stay in a secure vault, but ownership will be transferred electronically. Large custodians will periodically settle between themselves, moving physical metal only to rebalance big flows, exactly like global financial institutions already do today. You can see how fast the dollar is losing purchasing power and how quickly gold is rising, the fastest since 1979. This topic is important, so I ask for your support. Let's get 500 likes in the first 24 hours. And even better, subscribe while watching. Now, to keep your gold safe from confiscation or theft, you need several protections in place, unlike Bitcoin, which solves most of these problems purely through math and energy. To secure your physical gold, you need allocation and segregation. Your gold must be reserved specifically for you, stored separately as a physical bar or coin with a serial number. Insurance. It must be insured against theft or loss. Independent audits. The vault must be regularly checked by an independent third party. Jurisdiction. The gold must be stored in a country with strong economic freedom and no history of gold confiscation. For example, the US confiscated gold in 1933. Bitcoin, on the other hand, solves many of gold's issues, such as divisibility, speed, and several other limitations, through its design. In the future, We'll see competition between two global financial blocs, the gold bloc BRICS nations, advocating for money backed by gold, the digital bloc, the US and the West, supporting money backed by technology and digital scarcity in this system. Bitcoin becomes the store of value, while stablecoins serve as the medium of exchange for fast payments. Now you see how a new system of gold-backed money could theoretically work. But to make it real, one more major event must occur: asset confiscation. You don't seriously think governments will voluntarily give up control over money, do you? How could this happen? And what does BlackRock have to do with it? Let's continue. BlackRock is financing a massive $68 trillion infrastructure project tied to the UN Sustainable Development Goals. But there's a problem. Governments and corporations do not have the funds. Meanwhile, $40 trillion is sitting in low-yield accounts across the US and EU. These are the savings and pension funds of ordinary citizens. BlackRock wants to direct this money into its long-term infrastructure funds, often through automatic enrollment into the pension plans that it manages. This way, regular people end up unintentionally financing massive ideological projects they neither chose nor control. So what should be done in this situation? Most of the assets that need funding, bridges, power grids, private equity, are extremely illiquid. Capital gets locked up for decades. And of course, tokenization is what solves this problem. Fractionalization, illiquid assets are broken into thousands of small, instantly tradable tokens. As a result, illiquid investments become a liquid and programmable instrument. For BlackRock, tokenization is not just an innovation, it is a necessity. It's the only way to unlock trillions of dollars in pension capital and make their global strategy functional. BlackRock is not interested in open decentralization. Instead, the company is building its system around maximum control enforced through code and data. BlackRock integrated the world's largest market data analytics company into its Aladdin risk management platform. This system creates a powerful analytical foundation required to justify every investment to regulators. The company also joined a private, permissioned blockchain run by Goldman Sachs and BNY Mellon to tokenize its money market funds within a strictly controlled environment. BlackRock uses public blockchains, such as Ethereum, for liquidity, but only through intermediaries. They developed S-tokens, programmable digital wrappers. This code ensures KYC compliance, transfer limits, and jurisdictional restrictions directly within the token. A user can interact with a public blockchain, but if they violate the rules, the code simply disables their access. BlackRock's fund turns the open philosophy of DeFi into a tightly controlled bridge where rules are dictated by code, not by the community. Evaluating the situation, it's worth considering that the ending may not be as positive as it seems, and early protection may preserve your capital. And here gold enters the picture again. BlackRock's global plan perfectly aligns with the vision of the bank for international settlements, a world where central bank digital currencies become the primary medium of exchange and every asset is tracked and programmable. In a tokenized future, your ownership of your home, investments, and even your identification could be linked to a wallet within a centralized registry. Ownership becomes digital and potentially subject to control. BlackRock's involvement, however, brings massive legitimacy and capital. The Bitcoin ETF IBIT has already become the company's most profitable fund, proving that institutional money is monetizing crypto. Importantly, through this fund, BlackRock is not merely buying Bitcoin, it is issuing shares backed by it. They admitted they directly work with crypto whales, taking their Bitcoin under management. With gold, the story is more complicated. Judging by these lines, many people still prefer physical ownership of the precious metal. That's why a return of the gold standard may be required. People will be offered an alternative. If you want to use gold as money, then give it to us for storage and pay using tokens. This system already exists. For example, Tether Gold. Its market cap is modest, about $1.5 billion, but it is only a technological test. If, or rather, when BlackRock begins scaling it, most of the $30 trillion in global gold will be transferred into the digital world. Investing and even paying with gold will suddenly become convenient. Except formally, it will already belong to BlackRock and central banks, while you will only have tokens in your wallet, tokens that have absolutely nothing to do with the concept of decentralization. By the way, have you noticed how since early autumn the anonymous and long-forgotten cryptocurrencies cash has surged nearly 1,000%? Have you considered that this might be investors reacting to attempts to strip them of the right to own real assets? And let me remind you how important your like under this video is. If there are enough of them, I will definitely talk about anonymous cryptocurrencies. Thanks for watching. You don't seriously think governments will voluntarily give up control over money, do you? How could this happen? And what does BlackRock have to do with it? Let's continue. BlackRock is financing a massive $68 trillion infrastructure project tied to the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. But there's a problem: governments and corporations do not have the funds. Meanwhile, $40 trillion is sitting in low-yield accounts across the US and EU.